On my back, making stacks, and I'm strapped.
Hello, welcome back again to Multi Martiali and the Box Liberat channel. Today we have with us Kanishka Sharma. Hello, nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to meet you.
We were talking about the topic of this podcast.
Yeah.
I thought it could be Shaolin. I thought it could be Filipino martial arts.
Yeah.
But you teach and play and train many other things.
Yeah.
So it will be generic about you and how you do that. You play all this stuff. How many hours do you have in a day? 24?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start. Can you tell us something about your background? How did you start? And where are you from? First of all, where are you from?
Okay, I'm from India, in New Delhi. Okay, and I have my residential school, which is one of the biggest residential school in India, in Uttarakhand and Nainital. It has a capacity to hold 40 students in accommodation with food accommodation and training. So I run that school, and a lot of foreigners come to that school to train different kind of martial arts, which I teach. And I have centers in US and Canada and Sweden and a lot of other countries where I travel across to teach and spread FMA and Shaolin. And apart from that, I've been the close combat mentor for Indian Special Forces and Elite Counter-Terror Force since 2009. Yeah, and I direct action in Bollywood films as an action choreographer. I choreograph action for films.
So I can
That's what I do. Yeah.
I can invite you also in my channel about cinema. So
Yeah, so that's what I do. Yeah.
that's a threat. That's a threat. Okay. And basically, what you consider yourself, generic martial artist, or you prefer something in particular?
I prefer Kung Fu personally a lot,
Okay.
because I'll tell you that it's like an umbrella. And when I see FMA, when I see Jeet Kune Do, when I see Wing Chun, when you talk this and you can see the how and where it is coming from, or Silat, this Chinese martial arts has a heavy influence on a lot of other martial arts, which I'm sure you will agree with me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But many say that the Chinese martial arts come from India.
I don't agree with that, being an Indian.
Okay.
Okay, and
I tell you, I don't believe in this theory that everything comes from there and goes there and goes there.
no,
I think
I can,
everything.
because everything has to be factual. I'm a proud Indian myself,
Yeah.
but I do not like to promote or propagate something or take credit of something which an institution earned with a lot of hard work. Just if you just give me 1 minute to explain this. People
Yeah.
say that Shaolin KungFu came from Kerala, from India, from Kalaripayat, which is wrong. The reason being, Shaolin Temple was made for the first Indian Buddhist monk called Buddhabhadra, who came in 6th century to China. Okay, the one who's acknowledged for giving martial arts to the Shaolin Temple, Bodhidharma,
Yeah.
Damo, came in the end of 6th century. Okay, now Shaolin Temple was made for Batwo Buddhabhadra, and he already had two bodyguards, Hui Guang and Feng Chao. Feng Chao was a staff expert, and Hui Guang was a wrestling expert with Jaudi. So martial arts was already existing in Shaolin Temple before Bodhidharma came. So even if you ask in the Shaolin Temple, Bodhidharma is regarded as a founder of Chan Buddhism, which in Japan is called Zen,
Yeah,
not for martial arts. So the very fact which people claim that martial arts came from India, I don't believe. Every country has its own martial arts because we all as humans we develop, we learn to
yeah,
fight for food, for this and that. Every country has their own native and regional way of fighting or surviving. So it is not good to say that one thing was a birth of. So I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
believe in that
I
philosophy.
totally agree. I totally agree.
Yeah,
I before deciding to do a thesis about Jeet Kune Do, I was trying to write a thesis about Chinese martial arts because
yeah,
I graduated in Chinese.
yeah,
But there was no at that time there were no good books about that
yeah,
with bibliography, sources, something serious. It was really really hard to find at that
yeah.
period, and I should have looked about it in the Chinese written books. It
Books,
was
yeah.
too much for me at that time. I had to
Mm.
study too much to translate
To
everything.
translate
I
everything, I
decided
know.
that's I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But I totally agree. I think every one of us in Eastern and in West, we have martial arts everywhere.
Yeah,
Everybody can give a punch. Everybody can use a stick or a
exactly.
sword. But there are some influences. So I never believed in all come from India and then go to China, then go to Japan, and then go
Japan, then
something
yeah,
somewhere else. It's too easy, and too lazy thinking about
yeah.
that. I think.
Because people all over the world were traveling like this. Indians were coming
Yeah,
to China, Chinese were coming to India, they were traveling to Japan. So it's a mix, it's a fusion. The whole world has become like a fusion.
yeah, yeah. Like disease.
Yeah, like
I
disease,
always
like
say
like
martial
culture.
arts
Yeah,
spread like disease,
yeah,
and we bring something there, and
exactly.
they bring something to us, and so there is common
Yeah.
influence. And did you train when you were younger some Indian martial arts, Kalaripayat,
Yes.
or
Yeah, I did.
also the Lati, the Silambam with sticks?
Yeah, yeah. I learned calorie poet for a year myself, but I didn't find a connection to it.
Oh,
Before I
okay.
was leaving, because I started training martial arts at the age of 6, 7. Okay, and I first did Goju-Ryu karate. I became a black belt in that, and then after that I transferred to Iranian style kung fu, which is very famous even in Europe, kung fu tua. Okay,
Mm,
and I trained that for a very long period of time in India. And my teacher was Afghani, Wahid Ali, and he was from Afghanistan. And then when he left, I trained myself, and then later I started training Kalri Payat, the Indian martial arts. And in 2001, I left for Shaolin Temple to stay in the monastery to train with the monks. For the first 2 years, I was training in a group with normal kids, and I was only doing forms and this and that, and I didn't comprehend what I was learning. But after 2 years, my Shifu, he did a ceremony and he made me his disciple. And trust me, it was at that time I saw all different perspective of kung fu. He actually, the first thing he told me is like, what is kung fu? He said, don't train kung fu if you cannot fight with kung fu. Go
mm,
play basketball, go play volleyball, swim, anything. If you're training martial arts, of course, it is for personality development. It is for being a better human being. But it is also a tool which helps you to protect yourself and protect others. But definitely not as a sport form. And he said the component of Kung Fu is Ti Da Shuai Na. You know that, what I'm talking about. Dian Shu Dian Mai. Ti is kicking, Da is striking, Shuai is to wrestle and throw, Na is to lock, okay? And it sounds very much like mixed martial arts, kicking,
yeah,
punching, grappling, takedown. But because the expanse of Shaolin Kung Fu is so big that when people want to learn Kung Fu in 5 years, they cannot train it. It takes a whole life of commitment to train that. And there is one aspect of Kung Fu which I specialize in, which is very I don't like to use the word secretly passed because it's very lame, but very carefully passed down. Okay, after time, it's called Dwanda. Dwan is close, short hits. So I actually specialized in Shaolin Dwanda,
Okay.
close quarter combat of Shaolin Kung Fu. And so Sansilio Dwanda, Sansilio Chinna, 36 locking and 36 Dwanda is my specialization
Okay.
in Kung Fu. Yeah,
We talked about Bodhidharma a few minutes
yeah,
ago. Uh, I wrote, I made also a small documentary about 20 minutes about Bodhidharma that I wrote
yeah.
when I was in university. That we don't have a real um, proof that Bodhidharma actually lived. But you were talking about that there were already some martial arts in
Yeah,
Shaolin.
yeah,
This is new because in the martial arts community, all we all know the story of Bodhidharma that went there, the Zen and the Chan and everything. So it's a new point of view that not many books talk about it.
no, no, no. They're the first officially recorded martial arts of China, because you have done your research, and you must be knowing that was Jiaodi.
Yeah, there was also the GG. It was 1,000 years ago. They
Yeah.
used to compete with the heads to
Yes,
push
Jiaodi.
outside the
Then
circle.
yeah, exactly. Later it became Jiaoli. Currently it's known as Xiaojiao, which is the mother of judo.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so it was already being practiced in China. And Bodhidharma's first disciple, Huike, who chopped his arm, was a army general and a trained martial artist. So kung fu was already existing in China. Like I said, that it was not that Bodhidharma was the one who got martial arts from India and infused it into the Shaolin Temple.
yeah.
I don't believe that theory. Yeah, and neither
Okay.
do the people in Shaolin Temple believe.
Do you train also people to compete in kung fu, or you are not interested in the sport
No,
approach?
I'm not interested in sports martial arts. Like I said, that I follow two paths like yin and yang. One, I follow the art, because if there's no art, there will be no modern martial arts. We have picked and choose. Like for example, I train and I search and I train in traditional systems which are highly combative in nature. For example, I train in Muay Chaya. Muay Chaya, Muay
The
Boran,
tradition,
Thai.
yeah,
They're the old martial arts used by the bodyguards of the king to protect. Now, the modern is Muay Thai, which is a part, and the components of that has been taken out to use in a ring fight. You're not allowed to hit the groin, you're not allowed to finger jab, you're not allowed neck cranks or breaks inside the ring. So, there are a lot of things you're not allowed to do inside. You're not allowed to use weapons. Muay Chaya and Muay Boran also had their own indigenous ground fighting, which over a period of time got lost. Okay. So to say, and I hate it when people challenge people by saying that, why don't you enter into the MMA ring and prove? I said, bro, there are a lot of things. What, like, you can't challenge a guy, you can't challenge a Silat and a FMA guy in a MMA cage. Why don't you pick up a sword and a blade and try to fight with him? He has trained 20 years with knife. You can't fight with knife. It's very unfair for people to call somebody
yeah,
into the ring and then ask him to fight in your own specialization. If you want to fight, it should be free and fair. You fight with whatever you want, I fight with whatever you want. That's how life goes. When you're out in the street, there is no rules. The guy can have a hockey stick, he can have a baseball bat, he might even have a 45 caliber gun.
yeah.
You can't pick and choose your fight. You can't pick and choose your terrain. So I hate this conversation which happens again and again in internet, that this MMA guy beats the shit out of Wing Chun guy, this MMA guy can kick ass of FMA guys, and this is not working and that is not working. Please, to the world we are living in 2024. If you like something, you train. It gives you happiness, great enough. People are not fool. If people are finding their happiness in doing FMA, let them train. Who are you to tell them that it's not effective? People tell me Shaolin Kung Fu is bullshit, but I have 5 street fights in my life. And once I fought 5 people who are almost like 6 feet. And I saved myself. I survived a knife attack. So I attribute myself and my survival to Shaolin Kung Fu. Now you can't claim that on me and tell me that it's not useful, because if I would have not used that, I wouldn't have been living and sitting and talking to you in front of you right now.
Okay, okay. And talking about also Filipino martial arts,
Yeah.
I, the first time I saw you, it was about Filipino martial arts. So I thought you were basically a Filipino martial arts player and teacher, because and especially in Pekiti Tirsia,
Yeah,
I
I've
saw you
trained
with
very, very
SGM
intensive.
Leogaye. A lot
Yeah.
of times you are with the SGM Leogaye. I saw you with Nickelizar, Grandmaster
Yes.
Nickelizar about
Yeah.
Balintawak. I saw you with
Yeah.
the Panto Cagnete Flores from
Exactly. Yeah.
Filmo Eskrima. You like to train all the time. Your life
Yeah.
is simply that. You train and
Yes.
teach. This is your life?
I, yes, this is my life. And I believe that the day you stop being a student, you die as a martial artist. Because a lot of people question me this. There is no need for you to go to Leo Guy. I just came 10 days back from Philippines. I was in
Yeah.
Philippines again. And Leo Guy is 87 now. It's not about learning some techniques from him. It's also about sitting with him and hearing him, getting his wisdom of his life. And see, because when you become a teacher, like for example, I'm in India, I'm a teacher. And when I teach students, I'm honing their skills, but there's no one to hone my skills. And I'm very thirsty for knowledge. I want to train, I want to hone my skills, and I want to spread the knowledge. I don't want to hold. Okay, you come back to me after 10 years, I'll give you this technique. No, I get
Mhm.
it, I give it. And when I give it, I feel empty. Then I want to refill myself. So
Yeah.
that's what I love doing. Yeah.
Kanishka, every time I see some of your videos, you always smile. How much do you enjoy yourself training and go somewhere and train with a new teacher that you meet or something new?
Oh, I love that.
You really
I
have
just
fun.
love it. Yeah, I love that. Because the very fact is, when I was small, the only dream I saw was to be a Shaolin warrior, to be a Shaolin monk. I saw that movie 36 Chamber of Shaolin when I was 8, 9 years old. And I would tell my father, I want to be a Shaolin monk. And my father would laugh. Like, I can't even imagine, like people dream of being a millionaire, people dream of being something in their life. I always dreamt of being a Shaolin monk. And at the age of 21, I landed in the Shaolin temple. And to do that, I sold everything. I sold my car. I took out each and every penny from my bank. I took a loan. And then I left. When I came back, I had no money. I had zero balance. I was bankrupt. I had no money, nothing with me. But the love for martial arts was so strong, and it is so strong now that I still go and travel, and I learn. But I can't stay without learning.
Mhm. Um, Talking about Filipino martial arts, for
Yeah.
you, the first style you met in your life was Pekiti Tirsia or
No, sir.
something?
It was in Inosanto Kali.
Ah, okay.
Okay. I started training Jeet, and it was through Jeet Kune Do. You know that because you've trained. Yeah.
Yeah, for me also. I went to a Richard Bustillo seminar
Yeah. So
and I
in
had to buy two sticks and I fell
yeah.
in love with sticks.
Yeah. So in 2003, I went to Thailand to train with Sifu Wong. And for first 2 times I went to him, he was only training me a classical, like a Ted Wong style, Jeet Kune Do, eye jab, kicks and stuff, bob and weave, slip. And then one day, the third time when I went to Thailand, and he said, today we are going to do knives. I said, oh, knives? Okay. But I had no idea. Like, Wing Chun at night. But I knew because by that time I was already playing with Badam Jao, in Wing Chun. So I love this weapon. And so he said, knife. So he gave me the knife. He started with me with the 5 attacks immediately. And he was like, oh, you're good with weapons. I said, no, because I'm training Wing Chun also. Because I started with the nephew of Ip Man, Loman Kam, in
Mm.
2004. Yeah. And so he started me with Sumbrada and all those drills and sticks. And then I kept training that. So it was never like FMA as my specialization, but FMA within Jeet Kune Do. The first time I ever heard the name Hubert, Bluebird,
Yeah, yeah.
and all that stuff. And he was doing front elbow destructions and all those things. So, in what had triggered was in 2008, a big terror attack happened in India, Mumbai Taj attack. And I realized that Indian armed forces, I personally felt, was not very well equipped with unarmed combat.
Hmm.
You know, uh, they were training on and off in Krav Maga and some other styles, but I personally felt that I think I would love to specialize in edge weapon and contribute that to Indian armed forces. And that's when I went to Leogai, to
Hmm.
Philippines. And I remember the first day I met him, he beat me for 2 hours in the room. That was his orientation, the old Filipino way. And he was like, show me your Jeet Kune Do, show me your Kung Fu. And he had a knife, and I was like, okay, it was very different. He was playing live ginanting and bolo and stuff. I was like, okay, this is a different game. It's a different stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Not the way. And he was talking about killing. He was talking about how Leo guy is all about. He's very
I never
aggressive
met
and
him. I never met
yeah,
him.
yeah. But like those who have
I
trained
know
even
I know that he's really a sense of humor. He's a peculiar guy, full of
yeah.
experience, but I never met him.
And the fact is that I can't recall a single martial artist, FMA martial artist in America who was not trained with Leo Guy, including Guru Inosanto.
Yeah,
They've all Brick Fay, from Paul Vunak to a lot of people, they've all trained, Sayok Kali, and you can
yeah,
name a lot
yeah.
of people. They all have trained with Leo Guy, and he's very combative in nature. He's very highly combative in nature and is an old school training. So over a period of time, we developed a relationship like a father and son, and I genuinely mean that. He really treated me as a son, and he really passed down a lot of knowledge to me in Pekiti Tertia.
Mhm.
Even the old school Pekiti, the Dose, okay, and the Trivi. And then, of course, I trained with one of the two horns who passed away pretty young in his life, Tuhon Jasper. Uh, and in later stages, I also trained with Tuhon Philip Galinas in Canada, especially the original Pekiti Tertia material. So this is my source, but my first teacher was Tuhon Romel in
Mm.
Pekiti Tertia. He was the first one I went to early in my life, and then later I just trained with Leo Gahe.
Okay.
And
Is
then
there
I kept
some?
training. Yeah. And in 2014, I saw a clip on Balintawak,
Mm.
and I found it very interesting because it was like like a trapping pak sao to pak sao,
Yeah, yeah,
lap
yeah,
sao,
yeah.
like Wing Chun, very fast. They were hitting with the stick, they were punching, they were
It looks like
headbutting, elbow.
the Balintawak, for example, Balintawak and Pekiti. Pekiti can be also similar to Illustrissimo in some movements, but the
Very
Balintawaks
similar,
look
very
like
similar.
something totally different. The
Yeah,
Balintawaks look like I don't know, it's some kind of Wing Chun or Kung Fu
exactly.
because the distance is totally different.
Totally
And
different, yeah. So then I met Grandmaster Nick Elizar and I started training with him. During that period of time, Leo Gahe would always talk to me about Tom Bisio, how he trained Tom Bisio, and Tom Bisio became the champion in the Battle of Grandmaster, the first competition which was held, and he was the only foreigner who won that championship. And then Leo Gahe took the name of Momoy, Grandmaster Momoy Keniete to me. That he said, yeah, then I sent Tom Bisio to Momoy to train in San Miguel Eskrima. So I was like, okay. Then I started doing my research, and I asked uh, Grant Tuan, and he said, yeah, Momoy was extremely good in Sparedaga. And then here comes my bulb. I said, oh, then why not train from the best? Though I was
Yeah.
already training Sigiras and Pekiti Tirsia and what GT was training me, but I wanted to also study. So then they were, I don't know, even in San Miguel, there are two different branches right now. One follows the church and this. So I just wanted to go to the Momoy lineage, and I saw that, okay, Pento is his grandson. So I connected with him and I was like, okay, I would like to train. And he said, oh, okay, you train with the Leo guy and Pikiti and stuff. I said, yeah, but I want to train San Miguel. So first two times I only trained Sparedaga, but it was only from the periphery. And then later I started realizing that even San Miguel has and Pikiti has so much similarity in terms of the footwork and angulation. And I could see the way their techniques overlapping each other, like Illustrimo and PTK has overlapping techniques with each
Yeah.
other,
Yeah.
like the footwork of Illustrimo Tatlong Bao and the footwork of Pikiti Paiwas, which is exactly the same footwork. Now I don't know where it is taken from, how it went there, because like you said, I'm sure because Leo Gahes stayed in Cebu for a long time. Juni Kaniete was his friend. Mamoy Kaniete's instructor was GT's best friend and his room partner Dadog Limchua,
Hmm.
and I'm sure they must have exchanged, and that's
Sure.
why
Yeah.
like martial arts, it grows and it develops.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, what is your favorite sector of Filipino martial arts? The stick, the knife, double stick and knife, espada e daga,
Stick and
empty
knife.
hand,
Stick and knife, and
stick
I
and knife.
specialize in stick and knife and Dumog Pangamot, because Dumog Pangamot is an area where you will not find many people specialization in FMA.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
will only specialize in stick or double stakes, or just blades. So I
Yeah.
told Leo Guy that, I want to train Indian Army. So I want to learn two things like really very well. So he told me, okay, so I'm going to teach you knife, smoky knife from Pikiti, and like he calls it Dagaso tertia, and the Patayan, the draw to draw method, and Dumog Pangamot. I was not interested in sticks at all, to be very honest and candid with you.
Mhm. Yeah.
For first 2 years in Pikiti, I only trained footwork, Pangamot, Dumog, and knife, and only basic sticks, because I knew Inosanto stick, I knew sombrado and stuff. So I was not really interested in knowing. But then when he handed over the blade to me, I realized that you can't do what you are doing with the sticks. Because when Leo guy started moving the blade, and I was like, oh no, now I can't do the snake
That's
disarm. Now I can't do the strips.
yeah,
I
but
said,
it's not a stick anymore. That's a blade. Also, even if you're training with a wooden stick, that's not a stick. So
yeah. So and then it was then he put me into single blade mastery.
mhm.
So
The
yeah,
ginunting
my
in particular.
specialization is single stakes, Sparedaga, knife, and but I do double sticks a lot for coordination, for harmony,
Yeah. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
cognitive purpose. But I really love Sparedaga, and the whole new um dynamics of Sparedaga for street was showed to me by Paul Vanak, because I'm a full instructor under Sifu Paul and an India head for progressive fighting system RAT, rapid assault tactics. So
Mhm.
Sifu Paul's way of showing Sparedaga was uh, he showed me the drill first called the lock and block drill, okay, and then he gave me a small stake and a broken bottle. And he said, this is your spare daga, long weapon and a small weapon. And then, his way of teaching is never traditional FMA. He always tried to put it in the scenario of street fight. And he would always, he was talking to me about Sirada. He said, if you're fighting 3 to 4 guys and you are in the middle of the room and your hands are like this, you'll end up getting your both hands cut. And this is called the abertio position because you're open. He said, then you need to go like Wing Chun Sirada, the lock and block position. It's almost like a Kwan Sao.
Yeah.
He said, this
Yeah.
is how you live. This is how you die. I have a whole video of him showing me how to apply the Spare Daga in that. So it was very interesting. So Paul Gunak also changed a lot of thing in FMA for me, from traditional art form to how do you use it in a street. Especially he calls it flash night knifing, where he keeps the knife really close to him, and
Yeah.
he follows the knife, the opponent's knife. He makes you do the drill with the flashlight, and you just move out and cut it. Because he always says, he said, you don't fight with the drill. Like a few days back, I posted a video on Chisao, and then somebody commented it. You can't use that in MMA. Same old comment. I said, yes, I can't use that in MMA. It's like boxers, they learn to skip. But you don't, why do you skip in boxing? It's to earn the attributes. You learn Samrada to get the body attributes so that when you fight, you have those attributes with you. Chisa also does the same. The wrestlers, why do they do pummeling? They're not pummeling inside the wrestling match, but they do
Yeah.
pummeling. So these are the drills which gives you distance awareness, spatial awareness, the timing, the precision, the sensitivity. And sometimes I feel that people fail to understand that, because even in FMA, there are a lot of sensitivity drills available, which
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
which are not available in even Muay Thai has it. They do neck pummeling, they do 50-50, you know,
Yeah.
bicep
The
pummeling.
push push.
Also, then yeah, the push. But the same drills are available in Tai Chi and Shaolin. This is called waving hands like cloud. So that's what it's doing. When I do Hungar Kung Fu, we do like this. It's like somebody grabs the elbow and you come out. It's the same. Or you are circling inside. When you do with the knife in FMA, and you do, this is called Chan in Shaolin Kung Fu, the circle. And you can see the similarities. It's existing in all the martial arts. Like Hubert and Lubert, the basic Hubert Lubert, like you learn in Inosanto. 1, 2, lift, hit. Now this is existing in Tai Chi. We call it Pang Li Jian. This is
Hmm.
called Pang. It's called Li, Ji, and the double push An. So this is, look at this position. It's already like Hubert.
Yeah.
So you pang,
Yeah.
you lift, and you double on, push, you trap and hit. It's already there. But the difference is, like you have done your thesis, you know that Kung Fu or most Chinese martial artists are Buddhist in nature. And Buddhism and nature do not talk about aggression or being the first person to attack someone.
Yeah.
It always talks about non-violence. It talks about better maim than kill. That when attacked, you use your martial arts to defend yourself. That is the reason it is not aggressive in nature. It is more counter-offensive in nature.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but
Um,
you can draw the comparison from all the martial arts.
do you still train Jeet Kune Do?
Oh, yes, sir. A lot. And I teach a lot. Yeah.
And when you teach, first of all, I wanted to ask you. You have a big school.
Yeah.
How do you uh, manage the different styles in your school? What do you have a class about Kung Fu? You have the class about Filipino martial arts. You have a class about Jeet Kune Do.
Okay. So, sir, this is a. So, let me just tell you how I operate, how I work, because it's very different from the way foreign people or a normal person in India would operate. A normal martial artist will have his own academy where he will go every day, like in a Santo Academy, and you have class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, class 5, blah, 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 blah. I don't teach like that.
Okay.
Okay, number one. I only announce my seminars in my school. And when I'm there, I do foundation, intermediate, advanced courses every year for different martial arts. So months are set when I do that. And then I invite foreign instructors every year to my school to teach. and that ranges from different martial arts. I have 8 schools in India. Some of the schools specializes in Shaolin KungFu as instructors, some in Jeet Kune Do, some in Kali. So I have a different pool of instructors in India. And I have one gym which is in my home, okay, where on the weekends we teach FMA, JKD, and my own system, Shifu Kanishka Combatives, okay. And in the evenings, it is always Shaolin Kung Fu through and
Okay,
throughout.
okay.
So that
So
center is in the city.
if a guy wants to come to you from US and ask you, Shifu,
Yeah.
I would like to study Pekiti. Is it possible to do that, or
It's, yeah, possible. All he needs
you
to,
give a general approach to martial arts, and then you can decide what you like most?
no, if he asks me specifically, I want to train Pikiti, he just needs to get the dates from me and he needs to tell me that these are the amount of dates I want to train
Hmm.
and this is the number of hours. According to that, and understanding where he's coming from, his experience, I will derive a course for him to teach in FMA. And I would
Okay.
recommend him that.
Did you need some time to, while we you were studying different martial arts?
Yeah,
Did you need some time to absorb first, and then when you play, you are trying to show something about the Chinese martial arts,
yeah,
but something about Filipino happens,
never.
or on the contrary, you are doing some Pekiti or some Filipino stuff, and something about Chinese or Jeet Kune Do comes
No, but
in.
I show them the similarity, like I was
Okay.
trying to show you. It has never happened to me, because I believe, like, we both as human beings, I might appreciate Indian music, you might appreciate classical, but you also appreciate jazz. You can also appreciate rock.
Yeah.
you know you can also go and eat Indian food. I can enjoy Italian food. you know so it doesn't stop me from training. And like, we are, as humans, we have 2 hands, 2 feet. The geometry will not change. Every martial arts, okay, you talk about FMA or Pikiti to say very per se, it's based on triangle.
Yeah.
Wing Chun is also based on triangle and straight line. Aikido, Shaolin Kung Fu is based on circle and square and a straight line. And within the square, there is a triangle. So the geometry is not changing. When you talk to a Muay Thai guy, when they punch, they want to move, chaksai, or move, and they want to punch from outside. You talk to a Wing Chun guy, he's going to pull up a cut. You know, you talk to a Jeet Kune Do guy, he might do a Loi Buji or Noi Buji inside right away. It's the same thing. In Filipino guy, he'll say, okay, I'm going to do Sungat. I'm going to meet the force. So where is the difference? In Shaolin Kung Fu, you do the same thing. So
Okay. Okay.
I when people say that, Shifu, you don't get confused. No, I don't get confused at all.
So,
Never.
talking about food, and specifically Italian food, we can say it's like a pizza. There is the
Yeah,
pizza, and you can put whatever you want on the
exactly,
pizza,
sir.
cheese or mozzarella or
Yeah.
fish or something else, ham. But the basic, the fundamentals, it's the pizza. You care about the pizza. What you put inside, you don't care. You eat it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me,
Okay.
I always tell person, like, then people ask me, how can you mix and how can you remember? I said, I I will never appreciate, and I will never myself personally pick up something randomly and put into my system unless I have learned that system completely. That's why
Mhm.
when I became an instructor in Balintawak, I added it to my system. When I became an instructor in Filmokan, I added it. So I want to go in the depth. My thing is, how can you borrow something from Wing Chun when you don't study Wing Chun completely
Yeah.
yourself? So my base is Shaolin Kung Fu. Now your best can be something else. And over that base, like you said, pizza, you can add anything. But you must have a strong foundation or a base.
Okay. Okay. You inspire me the next question about this. We we meet a lot of people now because of internet. We can see a lot of players and experts in many martial arts. Thankfully for internet. Otherwise, some years ago, it was because of magazines.
Yes.
We didn't have maybe in the 80s, in the 90s, there were the videotapes.
Yes,
Now
exactly.
we have the web. We can see everything. But the bad part of this is that many people just see something and try to absorb and integrate in something. The contrary, you said that you want to study the system, know the
Yeah.
system, and then you can add something to
Yeah.
your personal system.
Yeah.
And how can we stop this trend of people to see, copy, and add into a
Very,
personal system without the real fundamentals?
sir, I personally believe it depends on the person's own integrity. Because
Yeah,
when you stand in front of the mirror, you're almost naked. The mirror never lies. From your heart to heart, you will know as a martial artist that you didn't put enough effort to learn this properly and you just borrowed it. And it can have a lot of disadvantages. Let me give you a personal quote of Shifu Polvonak. Okay, I everybody has grown up watching his video and how good he is. So when I was in Oceanside, California, I was like, "Hey, Sifu, I really love one of your technique, which a lot of people have, of course, copied because you produce the tapes, okay?
yeah,
And it's about inside eye jab, okay, going to elbow destruction to a guillotine." And he said, "Yeah." And then he said, "Well, I only did that for advertising." I said, like, "Oh yeah." He said, sometimes people are fooled. They don't understand that if a master shows everything on internet, who's going to come to him? There's certain things from for promotion. And he said, you
yeah,
need the teacher's acumen to understand. So then he told me, he said, I'm only going to use an inside eye jab if I see the fighter is just like that, and he's just trying to move his body towards me, you know, without his hands being up. And then he's trying to just, pushing me back. Boom, I might do a inside eye jab. Okay. But if I see a guy hands up, he said, I will never go inside because I'm in the line of the cross straight to the
yeah,
face.
yeah,
He said, in that case, I'm going to put this up right away. He said, but when people get beaten up like this, because when they see my videos and they want to try against a boxer inside eye jab, by the time they even realize they're down with the cross, knocked off. So this is what happened when you steal the technique and you do not study it and understand when and how it has to be applied.
yeah. But you know how things work. Many people is looking for money. They
Yeah.
try to earn money some other ways. They don't success in doing it, so they decide to do that with martial arts.
Yeah.
It's a crazy because you don't earn so much money with martial arts, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Uh, but people try to earn money from other people giving diplomas like water, and
Yeah.
they don't care. They don't look in the mirror and say, how can I do that? They really don't care. And people that don't know nothing about martial arts go to them, try, things don't work, and they say that martial arts is shit. That's the
And,
problem.
and you know what's the most funniest part? The people who are not good in martial arts are the best in marketing martial arts.
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
people who are genuine martial artists are the poorest. There are
yeah,
very few
yeah,
people coming to them to train. And
yeah.
those who are not good and
It's
they're very
the
good in
story.
talking and
The story.
advertising.
The story about flies.
Yeah.
Flies like shit. It's millions of fly, billions
Yeah.
of fly like shit. It doesn't mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always like that. Also in Italy, we have many self-declared gurus that create their style, their system, and create instructors in one weekend, maybe 2 weekend if you're lucky. and we are trying a way to. Uh,
But I
I am
hope to
I am
see.
trying to give so much information about styles,
Yeah,
teachers, to have a reference so that people know who are the names, that there are some historical styles that you
yeah,
can go and you can study. And so I would like to, that's why I'm doing this podcast, and
yeah,
also the other one about the Filipino podcast and the
yeah,
Indonesian podcast, so to give more info possible, so that can people don't go to the first person uh, under their building and start a class with
yeah,
someone that never trained with anyone, or he's an instructor, a self-made instructor on internet or YouTube, YouTube master.
YouTube is the biggest master. Everybody is learning from YouTube.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. um, when you when you train the weapons in Filipino martial arts, do you also was a lover of weapons in the Chinese martial arts,
Oh
or
yes, I love especially the Dao Shu. I love the Dao.
yeah?
Okay, and Dao is very similar. The applications are very similar to your Sumrada. You know, the Chinese Dao, the application, the first move,
Yeah.
okay, is very similar. You know, like an umbrella block to a cut, to a outside deflection, to a diagonal cut, to a thrust, and it's and using a a punyo, cutting down and hitting. So I can definitely say one thing, that after studying FMA, my knowledge of application of Shaolin weapons increased a lot. I could immediately see the application. Oh my God, it's almost like this, because, like I said, that the way Chinese people or the people train wushu now, it's more theatrical. They'll be just
Mm,
doing the moves
yeah.
without doing an application. So, are you aware of this martial arts which was developed by the Chinese government, Bing Dao, or,
No,
or
don't
Duan
think
Bing?
so.
Duan Bing.
No.
Okay, Duan Bing is known as the Chinese Filipino martial arts. So what they did, they took the best moves from the Daoshu, the Jian, okay, and the spear, and it's almost it's like two people doing stick or a blade fight. So you have umbrella block to hit and stuff. So they are given head guards and stuff, and now they are professional competition. People fighting with each other, applying the SWAT techniques to it. It's called Duan Bing.
Hmm. No, I never saw that. Never
Yeah,
saw that.
short weapon. I'll send you one video.
Okay, okay,
It's
okay.
amazing. So I trained that also, and it gave me an immense knowledge of how to apply weapon to weapon training. So like our
Do
teacher
you
would
think?
put us into staff to staff fighting with the headgear, and stick to stick, blade to blade fight, which very seldom you'll see in Chinese martial arts.
So we were talking about also the possibility that the Filipino martial arts can give you in acquiring some flow and also improve
Yeah.
many other styles that you train. Uh, that this is about the physical aspect. Did the Jeet Kune Do give you the mental openness to be always to absorb everything that you train and make some kind of blending? Does Jeet Kune Do
No.
give you something more about it?
Yes and no, both. Okay. Uh, when I started training Jeet Kune Do, I felt I was not learning anything new, because everything was existing in Shaolin Dwanda.
Hmm.
Jeet Tech, Now Tech, even the straight punch, because Dwan is a short, so they have They stand also like that, the hands are always center line like this. And when I saw Jeet Kune Do, I said, wow, it's almost like the Shaolin Dwanda. Even this movement is from Shaolin Dwanda, which Bruce Lee used to do. Okay, waving hands, like clouds like this. So all these components was already taught to me. Now, my Shifu, the first one I trained JKD, he called it 3E combat. So he was 6 times champion of Tai Chi wrestling in Thailand. Okay, he trained the Southern Shaolin 18 Lohan and Jeet Kune Do. So he blended that three systems together. That's why when I do Hubert Lubert, it is not really like Hubert. It's more like Tai Chi. I absorb and I give the energy back. So from that
Hmm.
Hubert Lubert, he would shift to Tai Chi circling hands and then flow to Chi Sao again, then go back to Hubert. So he would
Yeah.
mix the Shaolin, Tai Chi, and the Jeet Kune Do drills together. So when I saw my teacher, that was the one which gave the birth to my system, Shifu Kanishka Combatives, because I saw how he was blending Tai Chi wrestling into the Filipino martial arts, into the Jeet Kune Do, into the Kung Fu, you know, like he would do a Pak Sao to me, and then he would suddenly shift into the Shaolin traps, and he would go a Pak Sao and he would do a eye jab to go to a reverse eye jab. So this is from the 18 Lohan. So or he would go to the tiger and crane. He would go Pak Sao, but he would open the claw,
Yeah.
like a tiger, and then he would go out into the eye. So he just opened a whole lot of barriers in my mind suddenly, like that. So he's one of the main person who's responsible for opening that and teaching me how to
Okay.
assemble and put things into each other. So not exactly Jeet Kune Do, I would attribute it to 3E. The
Ah,
3E means easy to learn, economical in motion, effective in result.
okay. It doesn't care what style it is. It's just the
No.
principles.
Yeah.
Is there something that you didn't learn or train yet, and you would like to do that? Do you
Oh, I
have
have
or
not trained. I have not trained BJJ in my life. Uh, you can say just a little from Sifu Paul. Okay. Because progressive fighting systems has some part in the ground
yeah.
fighting. He uses BJJ, Dumog, and biting. So BJJ I have not experienced, but I have trained a lot in Shaojiao wrestling, Chinese wrestling, Tai Chi wrestling, Dumok from Liu Gahe. And Dumok from Liu Gahe includes Silat Harimau because, Eddie Jaffrey of Silat and Liu Gahe, they were very good friends. So they exchanged, and so the Pekiti Dumog has the foot trappings from Silat a lot.
Hmm.
But I only studied Silat for 15 days. Like I don't like to lie to people. Like when people say, do you teach Silat? I always say no. But I studied for 15 days, specifically Karambit from Guru Aslan Ghani, Silat Chris Lock 9. So that's it. And flexible weapon from him.
Okay.
Yeah, that were two things I studied from him. And I would love to study one of the Korean martial arts, uh, Kongkal Yusul. I still don't know the exact name. It's like a traditional mixed martial arts of Korea.
Hmm.
Yeah, Kongkal Yusul. I would like to study that, and I want to go more deep into studying different styles of Wing Chun because I studied the Pen style and I studied the Yu Choi lineage. I am the sole successor of Wing Chun 108 set, which is not existing in Ip Man lineage. It's called Chongkyun or Shoot the Arrow set. It was, if you know the history, Chanwashun's, they said that Ip Man trained from Chanwashun, but Chanwashun was very old, so Ip Man was taught by Enji Chung So, his head instructor. And Enji Chung So had Ip Man Yu Choi. Yu Choi was Ip Man senior, was also at one time Ip Man's teacher. So Yu Choi is our great grandmaster, and Yu Choi Sung Leung Fuk Cho taught our grandmaster, Fok Chiu, who passed away, and handed him over this form for multiple opponent fighting, which is called Chong Kyun, Che Hong Kyun, okay, shoot the arrow form. So it's not standing in one place and doing, it's like hitting, and blasting, turning, kicking. So it has 108 steps. So it's like a big form, but only how to fight with Wing Chun.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of my aims and my master's last will to me. He has given this a duty to me and told me to spread this 108 and not to let this die. Because when you
Okay.
talk about Wing Chun, people only think Sinam Tao Cham Kyu Buji. But he said, I want you to spread this traditional thing which was very selectively and seclusively passed down to a lot of great masters. And once he gave it to me, he had told me that, if you find a good student, pass it down.
Mm-hmm. Did you train some Western martial arts?
Yeah, boxing. I studied a little bit of boxing and, of course, Muay Thai, Sanda, Sanshao, because I firmly believe if you can't kickbox, you can't fight.
Yeah.
You must have a good body dynamics. And your traditional martial arts acts as your X factor.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can do slip and then you can suddenly come up with your
Yeah.
traditional technique, which the
Yes.
other guy is not aware of.
Yeah. Yeah. You
So
can do the boxing and also give some hammer punch, palm
yeah.
strikes.
So yeah, you can do Paksao and then you can enter into boxing, or
Yeah.
you can do
Yeah.
boxing and then you can do a straight blast. And that is more confusing to the person than
Yeah.
just a
Yeah. I
classical,
agree.
like
I
the
agree.
art of war. Like Sun Tzu said, you know yourself, but you don't know your enemy, you lose the war. You know
Yeah.
your enemy, you don't know yourself, you lose the war. But you know yourself and you know the enemy, then you can design the strategy to fight him.
Yeah.
And that's what you need in life. That's why I keep training. I want to explore different martial arts. I have never trained taekwondo, but my student, my Shaolin KungFu instructor, he's one of the coaches, and he takes out the students for Indian team. He's a taekwondo instructor, so I play around with
Okay.
him also in
Okay.
taekwondo.
I was going to ask you your future project,
My
but
future
I
present.
more or less you already said something.
My future project, sir, is to spread this system, the one I
Okay.
made.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
it's it's a it's a distilled version of my 40 years of experience in martial arts. I
Ah,
started
okay.
martial arts when I was 6, so I've almost trained martial arts for 40 years now. And in this system, I have put the best techniques which I've learned from these 8 martial arts. So I have made a stand up series. It's called 108 Techniques in the Stand Up. Then I've got ground survival. I've got FMA. So in long range, I use Pekiti Tirsia. The moment I enter a medium range, I enter into Inosanto and your some of the drills from San Miguel. In close quarter, I use a lot of Balintawak. So I have systematically fitted in the systems, because when you study different systems, then I took out the best techniques and I put it in. So I've created drills and combat techniques associated to it. And how do you use it in actual combat? So my aim is to spread SKC now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my aim. Not to promote Pikiti or Balintawak or San Miguel or this and that, but to spread this system which I've created. That is my aim.
Okay.
That is my future project. Yeah.
Um, Last question. Future projects, but I mean, this time, I mean, are you scheduling some new workshop around the world?
Oh yes, sir. Yes.
Your next moves.
My next is in Austria in the month of May, which I'm teaching combat Shaolin. There's a reason they invited me, because they want to study the close combat techniques from Shaolin. Then
Mhm.
your country, Italy, in July,
In
and in,
Milan, near Milan.
yeah, near Milan, and then
Uh,
I'm off to Canada to teach.
I guess I know where you will go.
Yeah, so you know everyone.
No, I have many friends. I also have many enemies because
Oh,
I always talk about people who create. fake martial arts and fake styles, and after watching YouTube. So I always talk about that. So many people
Yeah,
hate me for that, but I
it's
have many
okay.
friends that
We
are
cannot
real and serious people about martial arts.
we cannot make everybody happy in life.
No,
And yeah,
no, no.
and you're doing a fantastic job by introducing genuine people who have taken their life like I don't work, I don't go to office. Like when people ask me what do you do, I said I teach. He said, but what do you do? Like most of the people I know, they have something. Like most of the Asian, even Wing Chun teachers, they work and in the night they teach Wing Chun.
Yeah.
But I'm a full-time martial artist. That's what I do. I learn and I teach. I have no office, I have no other source of income. That is what I do. But my main primary training is with the Indian Armed Forces. I teach them movies as I choreograph action, or projects for Discovery or Nat Geo channels, which they offer me sometimes to do. The last project was India's Ultimate Warrior, which I did for Discovery Channel, and travel across the world and spread the knowledge. Somebody wants to learn Wing Chun, somebody wants to train my system, and somebody specifically wants. A lot of people call me for Pekiti Tirsia. I'm known for that. I cannot deny that.
Yeah.
I'm known for that, you know. So I teach that. Yeah.
About cinema, I will invite you. I will invite you.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to talk also about your future project in the cinema or choreography, martial arts choreography,
Yeah.
I about India. I saw some months ago RRR. You call it like
Yeah.
that.
RRR, yeah.
I fell in love with that movie. I started seeing a lot of Indian movies after that, but it's not Bollywood. Like it's Tollywood. The name is different.
It's like North and South industry. Yeah.
Okay.
Different
Okay.
name, but I like to call it Indian film fraternity.
Yeah,
Like
okay. Okay.
like you and me, we are martial arts brother. I don't like FMA brotherhood, Shaolin brotherhood. No, it's martial arts brotherhood. We are
Yeah.
all the
I
same.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. That movie is huge.
Yeah.
It's
It's
huge.
huge. Yeah. It's
It's
huge.
totally it's totally crazy. That movie is totally crazy. I hope to see something in the future like that because it was really cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
Also the music.
Oh yeah.
Your favorite
Music.
music? What do you hear? If you hear some music when you train, I love music. I play some music, so
Oh, me, people call me crazy. I always put a playlist of Choili Fat or Hungar because even in Kung Fu, brother, I train. I'm a certified teacher in Hungar. In Wing Chun, I'm currently training Choili Fat also. Okay, and I love Choili Fat. I think it's one of the most aggressive Kung Fu styles in fighting.
I
You know,
I have some friends. I have some
yeah,
friends that tell me that the Cholifut and Hungar really look like the Pukulan, the Serak, and the Silat from West Java that I train and teach.
sir, in the book, Bruce Lee himself said the Choili Foot is one of the most aggressive Kung Fu style he ever experienced. And Choili Foot was one of the only styles which went to Thailand and didn't lose against Thai boxers.
Hmm.
So it's very, very aggressive, hardcore fighting style, and I love it. Especially the South way, like hook punches and the like
Yeah.
back fist, like
Yeah.
really hardcore. So yeah, I can't stop training Kung Fu. It's my love. It's my first love.
Okay. Okay. Do you hear some music when you train?
Oh, I always listen to Wong Fei Hong music, Chinese Kung Fu music. That's my
Uh,
playlist.
Okay. Okay.
Or I love
Okay.
Rocky Balboa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Kanishka, I would like to thank you for accepting my
Thank
invitation.
you. Thank you so
I
much.
hope
Thank
I
you.
can invite you some other time in the future if you
Sure.
want to
Thank
talk
you.
also about something in specific about the
Yeah.
Filipino way or the Chinese way.
Yeah.
And also, I want to say all the people that watching this podcast, all the info about Kanishka Sharma is in the description of this video. So, what to tell more? Thank you again. Thank you
Thank
for accepting my invitation.
thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Bye, Kanishka. Thank you again.
Take care,
Bye
brother.
bye.
Bye bye.